Today is June 15th, 2013, and we are interviewing Mr. Cloyd Norwood in Springfield, Illinois. Mr. Norwood was born August 2nd, 1939. My name is Cheryl Walker, and I am with the Illinois State Library, and I will be interviewing Mr. Norwood. Mr. Norwood, could you state for the record what branch of service and what location you served in?
I served in the Army, U.S. Army, and I was stationed in Germany, Siegelsbach, Germany.
Okay. And what was your rank, your highest rank that you achieved?
I was up to specialist.
Okay. What years did you serve in the service?
From 1960 to 1962.
Okay. And did you enlist or draft?
I was drafted.
Okay. Do you remember the day that you received your draft notice?
It was probably like a month before I went in, I think. But I went in March, so probably a month before I received it and had my physical and went in.
Where did you take your basic training at?
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Okay. Where were you living at the time?
I was living in the south side of Chicago.
From Fort Leonard Wood, where did you go for your advanced training?
I took my AIT at Fort Gordon, Georgia.
And did they, after your advanced training, did they tell you where you were going to be stationed?
No.
Okay.
No. In fact, I was the last one shipped, among the last to be shipped out, and we didn't know where we were going. And then all of a sudden they said, you have orders to go to Germany, and we didn't know what part of Germany. And then we got there and we kept getting off a boats and transferred until we end up in the southern part of Germany.
So you went by boat?
Yeah.
Oh. Was it a Navy ship? Was it?
No, it was just old ship that they were transporting troops with. Yeah.
How was that ride?
It was rough. It was rough. At least I know I got sick. Some of the others got sick, and it was a 14-day journey, so it took a little while, and the water got a little rough there.
Did you have good food on the?
Oh yeah, we had good food. Yeah, that was the thing. But a lot of times you couldn't eat too much because cause it caused it to come up, and you had to be careful what you ate.
So what was your MOS?
Radio teletype operator, 053.
Okay. And what did you do as a radio teletype operator?
Well, on post I did. I was a jack of all trades there. I operated the radio, switchboard, crypto, you name it. But my primary job was to run convoys throughout Germany, operating the radio.
To run
convoys? Yeah, that was where you got a group of trucks and in fact, we was at an ordnance depot. We never knew what we had in the shipment. My job was to keep in communication in case something happened. They wanted to send messages back across Germany. I was able to do that.
Oh, okay. Okay. And so the convoys would go out and you would keep in contact with them?
No, the convoy was probably about 10, 12 trucks, and they was carrying war material. And we would take and go from one place. It was like it was really like, trucks that were delivering products from one point to another. And we would leave one place and go to another, pick up a truckload and go from that to a new destination.
Okay. When, how long were you stationed in Germany?
18 months.
18 months.
Mhm.
And you had to do a little bit of everything. Was it a small base that you were stationed at?
Yeah, it was a small base. It was small in terms of, by being an ordnance depot, a lot of the material was underground. It was in an area that was restricted, but the basic area where the living facilities was very small. Yeah,
Did you live on base?
yeah, yes.
Did all of the personnel live on base?
No, those who were married was able to live off base. Only those are if you was a high-ranking officer or if you were married with a family.
And where in, was it northern Germany, southern Germany?
Southern Germany,
Okay. And what was the city?
Sigersbach.
Did you get to do a lot of traveling?
Yes, yeah. In fact, that was my goal. Whenever I got an opportunity, I would travel as far as my money would let me go.
Where all did you get to travel?
Traveled to, I went to France, I went to Amsterdam, Switzerland, and, throughout Germany. 18 months don't allow you a lot of time to do a lot of travel, but I traveled as much as I possibly could. But the good thing about it is I was discharged in 1962. In 1982, I went back to Germany. Almost 20 days to the date that I left Germany.
Did you?
Yeah, it had changed. I mean, it had changed. It was one Autobahn when I was in Germany, and the buildings, because of the war, the building was in shambles, and it was a terrible sight. But when I went back, all of that had been taken care of. New Autobahns, you get lost in your own little town, because everything had changed. So.
So they were still repairing some of the buildings when you were over there.
They were repairing some, but there was so many damage that they was, just only could get to, a few at a time, And they didn't have a lot of men. I was in town where the women outnumbered the men anywhere from 7 to 10 to 1, You didn't hardly see men, and you see men, they would be working, repairing the street or repairing something. Very few men. I guess because the war had taken them out,
And that was World War II.
Yeah.
And they were still recovering back in the 60s from World War II.
Right, yes.
Were you over there during the time that the Berlin Wall went up?
Yeah.
Did you get to see that?
From a distance, I did. I can remember we ran a convoy, and I guess what I kind of remember was almost like I'm on this side of the table, you on that side. We Americans and you Russians or whoever, and that was about all I was able to see because we was under orders not to go certain places, not to be away because of what we were doing. Yeah, we couldn't just go and visit those places like that.
You were in Germany at a very crucial time.
Right, exactly.
You saw a lot of history. You saw a lot of history in the making, and you saw a lot of recovery.
Yeah.
What else did you see?
I guess the The thing that I didn't think one thing I saw that I didn't think the people of Germany would be as friendly as they were towards Americans because, what had taken place. But I found the people were very receptive and open and, to soldiers. As we went out through Germany, I expected a lot of hostility, but I didn't receive that. I guess that was the thing that kind of surprised me. And people that, in particular, those that could speak English, was open to talk to you about, America, and where you from, and this kind of thing. I can remember talking to, I guess these must have been students, and they was well aware of American history. They said, "Oh, you from Chicago?" And I said, "Oh yeah." They said, "Well, if you go out with Al Capone, shoot you down." They always remember the bad. And they were talking about, there's a lot of gangsters there. Yeah.
So they related Chicago,
Yeah.
Illinois, Chicago, to gangsters. They could relate back to you to something. That's interesting. Your time in the service, did you have a memorable time? Was it a good time?
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a memorable time because one of the things that, before I went in the service, a gentleman, he sat me down and said, in the service, you make it what you want it to be. If you want a good time, you obey, you do what they say. You may not understand, but you do what the people tell you to do, and it'll be a memorable time. And I kind of followed along that line. When I went to Germany, I don't know how many people was on our post. I was the only black guy on the post that had a car. Only black guy. And it probably was 100 black. Well, I said about 80 blacks on the post. But I was the only black guy on the post that had a car. And there was only a few, because a lot of these guys were young guys, they didn't have the money to get. I was young too, but some kind of way I found $400 to buy a car. And a lot of them didn't save any money, they would just want to go drink and whatever, And I had a very good time. I had a Volkswagen, and I considered myself helping a lot of the other guys. I have came in at night, you got to be on post. It was a closed post. What I mean by that, by being an ordnance company, they got guards all the way around it and security at the gates and so forth. And you had to be in, I don't know, was it 12 or 1 o'clock on the weekend. And it was only one bus that would leave at 6 and come back at 12. If you missed that bus, and we was out in, I call it the boomies, And I would be coming back in my Volkswagen, and guys that missed the bus. I had brought back 12 guys in a little Volkswagen.
I bet that was a sight to see.
Oh yeah, and then I could only go about 10 miles an hour because, with all them guys, it's almost dragging the ground. You hit a bump, it bottoms out, I said, hey, but I did have to keep them from, if they came in past curfew, they would pull that pass and give them Article 15, if this may be their second or third time, they give them Article 15, So I would bring them in, and so
you were the savior.
So those are just some of the memorable times I've had there.
Can I ask you, did you have a convertible?
No, I didn't have the convertible. Or 12 guys can't get in the front. I had like 2 on the back bumper. Volkswagen had that little bumper. They would hold on to that, and then two or three on the hood. the back was the sway back. They would hold on, just rest up against the back, and then the front they get on, and as long as they could hold on, they could ride.
And how many miles was it to the base?
I would say about 12 miles,
Oh my goodness.
maybe 10 to 12 miles.
Did you ever lose anybody? Did you ever have to
Oh
stop?
yeah, they would fall off sometimes. And we wouldn't go over 10 miles an hour unless we got a good straight. And they jump off and they come get back on. We didn't ever leave anymore.
That's a good story. Did you, was it a used Volkswagen? Did you buy
Yeah,
it?
it was just.
Did you bring it back home with you?
No, I couldn't.
No.
No, those cars could not pass the pollution test here. And the other thing that happened is you take, for instance, the best car was the Mercedes 500. That's the big Mercedes. I don't think they even sold those here. They sold the 300 here in the United States, but they have the 500s over there, and they are great cars. And if you got one over there, you pay about $12,000 for it. Here, they probably cost you about $45,000. That's the difference, And the Volkswagen, like what I had, you could get it for $1,000 over there. And the little Bug, it's about $1,000. Here, get it, it's 3 times that much, at least double that much, So, but they wouldn't let you bring them back, And
But it got you around when you were over
oh
there.
yeah, it got you around. Yeah, because a lot of the guys who, one of the good thing about it was the guys who I'd help work at the motor pool. If anything went wrong, they would fix it. The tire go flat, they take it down there and fix it because they know that they might be riding.
They might be one of them that was riding.
Yeah. So.
How did you stay in contact with your family when you were over there?
Strictly by letter. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was there when my aunt passed, one of my aunts, and my mother didn't know that, she could have went to the Red Cross and they would have sent a telegram, and probably they would have let me came home because during that time, it was a lot of traffic back and forth to the United States. I know my cook, one of the cooks, his parents, someone in his family passed, and he got on a plane. They brought him to somewhere to O'Hare, and he came home and stayed 2 or 3 days for the funeral and everything, and came back. And I probably could have done the same thing if my parents would have knew that, go to Red Cross, let my company commander know. Probably would have happened, but my primary means of communication was by letter. I'd send my mother, people a letter.
Did you have any entertainers come to visit you when you were stationed in Germany? To come to your post?
No.
No.
Only when I was at AIT and at basic training, we had entertainers to come.
Oh, really?
Because the nature of our post, I guess, we had very few visitors to come on post. I don't know, well, number one, it was 2 reasons. Number one, we were so far out in the boom, we was back up in the woods, like here, and then number 2 is because the nature of the place, it was only an area that the people lived and interacted, and then all of this was, off limit to probably 60% of the people that was there, I never went out there. I probably could have, but I just never even had a desire to go out, you know, because one of my guys, I was in the communication section. We had our own area like this, you know, and he worked out there. A couple of the guys worked out there, but I never went out there. Figured it would. Sometimes you overexpose yourself. You go out in a new area, and next thing you know, they be, hey, you can do this. Go out there. You know, you keep expanding your service. You know.
You were in Germany during a time, 60s, early 60s, 1960, 62, during a time when the U.S. was having some racial issues, and we were.
Well, actually, it was right before all the tension came about. You know, after I got out, then that's when Martin Luther King and the Kennedys and all began the racial. It was during the 60s, it was pretty, it wasn't real calm, but it was pretty calm. The problem we were having then was with like the Russian, the Cold War, you know, and that was the thing that was on the radar screen. Then once I got home, then the racial issues escalated, you know.
But when you were in the service, you didn't feel any of that.
Mm.
There was a camaraderie between all of you, the servicemen, and everyone on base at all times.
Yeah, pretty much everyone on base. I never had any problem. In fact, in my bay, we had a bay. This looked like where we lived, you know, almost, because it was just a small group of us in communication, you know. Each guy had it, about 4 radio operators, crypto operators, you know, and out of the, let me see, I'm gonna say how many guys was in there. I would say it was probably about 14 guys and would be in this base. About 14 guys. And out of that 14, we only had 3 black guys in there, and the others were white. We didn't have no problem because the guy who was, I guess you would say, kind of the leader of the group, when I walked in, he said, look, we work together. We back each other so we don't have no problems. Because if the Sarge come in here and he catch me off and what's, you know, messed up, he gonna punish the whole group of us. So we watch each other's back and did this, you know. And so, you know, I said, well, I don't have no problem with that. We kept going, kept going, and kept going. And hey, we had it, you know, everybody was watching for everybody else, you know, because we had a Christmas party one year and they, you know, quite naturally they said, well, we restrict, no alcohol on poles during the holidays and this and that, you know. And they had an NCO club, you know, you go up there. But we didn't have enough rank because you had to be an E5, you know. And most of the guys in my group was E4s, you know, E3s, E4s. And so we decided we were going to have our own Christmas party. And so they said, and just so happened one of our best friends, he was the guy go to town, go to wherever he went to get the food to bring in. You know, he'd do that about twice a week at least. He'd go and he'd load up and bring the food in. So we got him to bring us, you know, beer, whiskey, you know, just, you know, some guys said, well, I want gin, I want this. And we loaded up. And so they came back. He came back that day about 11 o'clock, 11 or 12 o'clock. And they said, man, most of these guys out working. I had worked the night shift. And he said, Norwood, you got to hide this stuff. He said, cause they definitely gonna check us out, you know. And cause we were the only one had a day like this, you know, cause we had to work 24/24. They could call us, hey Norwood, they calling us from headquarters. Get up, we gonna run it. You know, they call us anytime, day or night. And so he said, you're gonna have to hide this stuff. So I said, he said, I know they gonna, and probably they knew we had done order some stuff, things just going so calm and everything, you know. But what happened, I said, I don't know where. Now, how can you hide anything in here? Look at this room. How can you hide anything? And so I said, how in the world? And we just had a bed and a footlocker, bed and a footlocker. I said, now, it'd be stupid to put it in the footlocker. So I went out and dug a pit like this in the back, in about this deep, and put it down in there and got, I don't remember, I think some boards and put across there. I put dirt on it and I cut the grass. You know how you have sod, and I put that over that. And so at night we go and get a cup full, you know, or whatever, and you know we just get a little bit and give everybody a drink. And all of a sudden here, they come sergeants. You know, I guess they were waiting until we got the party started. We were getting started good, and here they come down. We gonna a shakedown. That's what we call it, shakedown. And they looked everywhere. They looked. They said, "We know you got some stuff. We know you got some." They looked everywhere, but they never found it out.
So did you get in trouble?
Because they couldn't find nothing. They couldn't find nothing. And see, we had it. We would be drinking out of a cup. If they come, you could flush it. You know, you got too much in your cup, just put it down the sink or drink it down. They could.
So you had your Christmas party.
Well, they looked everywhere.
Did you buy anything when you were over there, when you traveled?
No. You know why? Because I used all my money to travel. I had a friend, he was from Philadelphia. He's a story to be told too. But he was from Philadelphia, and he was the best dressed guy in the world, not just on post, but in the world. He was perfect size, and he would get suits made. He called them the Italian knits and stuff. I mean, this guy looked really good, you know. But he spent all his money buying clothes, luggage, and stuff like that. I said, I'm gonna spend all my money to travel, cause I may not never get to go these places again. I came back with, in fact, I should have had a camera when I came back. I didn't even buy me a camera because they were dirt cheap over there. Two things that I should have came back with: some good leather luggage. They had the best leather luggage and a good camera. I didn't even come back with either one. But no, I didn't buy. I didn't buy hardly anything while I was over there.
But you have a lot of memories in your mind.
Oh yeah.
Did you stay in touch with any of your friends in the service?
No. Yeah, well, I did for a while. The guy named, I was just talking about, the guy that was so well dressed, he lived in Philadelphia. He got out of the military because he had been in the military. When I got there, he had been there a year and a half. And they extended him for a year because of the buildup of the, you know, the Cold War. And they thought Russia might make a move. And Castro was acting up. They extended him for a year, but he still got out before I did. I was there 18 months. He had about a year and something left when I got there, so he got out before. And when I got out, I got out in Fort Hamilton. I was discharged in Fort Hamilton, New York, and I came to Philadelphia to visit him and his family. And I always said I was going back, but in fact, up until this day, I never went back because these guys that I was with, they lived in all different parts of the country. But we should have had some way of getting together after we got out. The closest one in my company lived in Cary, Illinois, Robert Carr, and I never tried to ever reach him. So, yeah.
Now, when you came back from Germany, did you fly back? Did you come on boat?
On boat.
Oh, how was that trip?
It was rougher than going over there. What I remember so vividly about that trip is that we were this is the boat. We our sleeping quarters are here, and the cafeteria was up there, and it was rough. Boat was rocking, and you look at those boats, they're a block long, and they big, and but the ocean is even bigger than them because that ocean is mean. I mean, that's why I never went on a cruise since I got out of the military because I didn't realize how violent the ocean could be. And we went down there in the hatch right here because the boat was twisted so it locked the hatch and they couldn't open it. And they told us, they said, when things calm down, you're gonna have to come out, go up on deck and come and go down in here. And so it really, I guess it did, it calmed down considerably, but it was still, with a certain motion. And they put ropes up there, and you had to hold on to the rope from this hatch down to this hatch. And they said, hold on for your life now. Don't let go. Don't be goofing around. They made it clear. And so we were holding on and go to get there and go in. And one guy, he, they always said, oh, it's always going to be one fool in the group. I think he let go. And I don't know. I don't know whatever happened to him. I just think, he went overboard. They just kept going like he didn't exist, Yeah. Because there's no way you could save him. Even if there's no way. But, they never announced anything that we got a man missing or anything. Just probably on his death certificate, missing in action or something, I don't know.
When you got out of the service, was there a lot of you that day were discharged?
Mm-mm. No.
Okay, you said you were discharged in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and how did you get home?
Oh, I took a bus to Philadelphia. Did I go to, I'm trying to think. I went to Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and then I left from D.C. and flew into O'Hare. Yeah.
So you did a little sightseeing.
For all my money, right?
You were going to get the best of your money. Did your family know that you were coming home?
Yeah, I had sent all my clothing home, most of my clothing. In fact, I had sent too much home because I had to end up buying some clothes because I stayed longer than I had anticipated by going to D.C. and to Philadelphia. I wasn't intending to do that, but my friend, he said, well, I'll go with you to D.C. and we'll do this. And we just kept going. When I got down to about $6, I got on the plane.
What did you do when you got home?
Nothing for a while. Nothing for a while. And then I decided, well, I need to get me a job. And I was working on the job during the Christmas holidays before I left. And I went out to that job and they looked at my record and said, you went in and said, we had just called you back. You're entitled to, your job and all of the benefits that was given during the time you was in service. So I got my job back with all the increases they had received. So that worked out for me. And after that, I stayed there until I got in school. And then by me being in school, one of the professors ran a company, Kemp Corporation. And he offered me a job there. Said, you go to school during the day, get out at 2 o'clock, come over at 3 and work until 11. And it was a good job, paid good, And so I went on and went to school, and I got out of school, I got a job at Automatic Electric. And I worked there for 8 years and went back to school, and I stayed on my job for 32 years before I retired.
So did you go to school on GI Bill?
Mm-hmm. I went to school on the GI Bill, and I got my bachelor's degree, and then I applied for a military scholarship, which I didn't qualify for, and they gave it to me. I just went back and got my master's degree. Yeah. So.
And what did you get your master's and bachelor's in?
My bachelor's, I got it in psychology. My master's, I got it in education. Yeah.
Did you ever teach?
Yeah, I taught, and I worked in administration quite a bit, But I taught, in fact, I taught math out at the city colleges in the adult education program. People just didn't like to teach math, and that's the only reason I hung around so long, because I had some female friends, and they said, we got to teach math. They can have this job, And they just said, I don't know why, they just didn't like to teach math. But that's all I was doing, was just going from one classroom to another. So I could handle that, You make up one lesson plan, and you can go. But,
if a young man or woman came to you today, would you encourage them to enlist in the service?
Yes, I always encourage people to enlist. But what happened now is, in fact, I just got through, because I'm the commander of my chapter, and we have a lot of people that, ask questions about every aspect of the military. And I got 2 young ladies. Both of them was in college, and they said, when we get out, we're going to go into the Navy and the Army or whatever. I said, okay, make sure you. And so they went, and one graduated. I went to Arizona to a graduation. What was that? December. I think she graduated in December or January. I went out there she was all prepared to go to the Navy. And now that the war is all kind of, I won't say over, but they're pulling out the military personnel. They don't need as many people. And what she wanted to do, they told her if she had a college degree that she could get in there. And now she go out and they tell her, oh, you have to have your master's degree to get in this program now. So, they keep raising the bar now. And the other young lady, she dropped out of school, and I told her her chances are even slimmer, you know. But what I was telling the other young lady, go on and get your master's, you know. It's like I would suggest to you, go in there and go day and night and get your master's in 1 year. You can do it, you know. I said, just devote, don't go out on Saturday nights, don't, you know, a lot of people can't commit to something like that, you know. I remember when I went back and got mine because I knew I didn't have a dime for nothing, you know. And when they gave me this little scholarship, I said, because they said for 2 years, but I said, I would come in, I'd go to school during the week, I'd come in on Friday, get me food for the weekend, and I just locked myself in and went on. And you make that kind of commitment, it pays off, because what happened is if she go on and do that, and they let her in, because the program that she's going in, I think you come out as an officer or something, you know. And I said, if you do that, then you go in and serve your tour of duty. Then you got the GIB and get your doctoral degree. And now you set for, you know, I said, it's a way of planning. So she's considering that, you know. But I always encourage young people to be part of the military if you can be a part, you know, because now it's more difficult because my nephew, he was a recruiting officer, and they done closed his office down, you know, and sent him, I think, in fact, he's up at Great Lakes now. They're sending him out to California somewhere because they don't need to be recruiting people right now. You know, they don't need extra soldiers.
So you, you are the commander of your,
Just say American veteran. Verdun chapter 33. In fact, Hines is right in the Hines Hospital, right in the middle of my chapter. Forest Park, Oak Park, Hillside, you know, all of that area.
that's wonderful. So you're very active with the DAV.
Yeah, but our chapter is not that active because you know what the average age in my chapter?
No.
Average age is 85. And probably, I know when I started, I've been a life member since '78. And I used to feel like I was a little boy running around there. But, you know, these guys were so much older than me because it was one of the early chapters. And these guys, you know, journeyed. And that chapter used to have 900 and some members. And now they say every so many days, you know, we losing a guy because of the age, you know, 85, 90 years old. And so we done come down from 900 and some. We probably down to about 600 now. And yeah.
Well, Mr. Norwood, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't. I can't think of anything else. You know. Yeah.
Well, and I would like to thank you for the time that you served our country
Yeah.
and the time that you gave for
Yeah.
your service. And I would also like to thank you for giving me the honor to hear your story today and for
Okay.
giving me the honor to interview you.
Okay. I don't know if it's the kind of interview you wanted.